If you're hearing this message, I'm on summer hiatus, but don't worry, I didn't leave you hanging while I'm outside. Listen to these episodes in the Coffee with Yvonne archive of some of my favorite interviews and marketing magic. I'll be returning this fall, freshly rested, by the way, with new interviews and new marketing breakdowns that you cannot miss while sipping coffee with me. And don't forget, you can follow me on social media to find out more about me and my life and my day to day while I'm away from the pod. You can find me at Instagram and TikTok, aka the Clock app, at Yvonne_creative marketer. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and I cannot wait to chat with you soon. Okay, bye! Joining me for coffee this week is Raffi. He is one half of the very popular podcast here in the DMV called Wait, Don't Do It. And I learned about Raffi and his podcast when I was on Instagram and I saw a repost of his video on Washingtonian problems. And if you're not familiar with Washingtonian problems, it's like the shade room of the DMV, but think more like things about politics in a funny way and like tongue-in-cheek things about transplants or things that are very DMV centric. Anyway, I saw one of his videos on their account and I just had to follow them, and I love watching his content. It's very funny. I had a chance to meet him in real life at Danny's recent event that she held in DC for a hotel opening here in the area, and he was just as sweet in real life as he is on their content channels. So, that being said, please enjoy this interview and very fun conversation with Raffi.
I love it.
I am so excited to have you. I cannot believe that one quick meeting at Danny's party turned into you being a guest on my show. And honestly, Raffi, I squeezed you into my podcast schedule.
Oh, because no, I love. First of all, I took notes when what you sent me. I was like, okay, this is how it needs to be done. You sent me time slots. You sent me where to be, and now I know that you said flexible to like the somewhere in the 2-hour range. So I'm like, okay, I always am like the dot to the dot person, but I love the idea of just like having a little breathing room and like kind of catching up before as friends, because I'm one person I just get right into it.
Exactly.
And what's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, I love that. We talked about that actually at the party. Yeah, I'm a Leo. July or June?
July.
Okay, good. My ex was June. Oh,
those
wow.
are two different Cancers. Those are two different Cancers.
Those are fresh off the Gemini boat. So
yes, we don't know her. We don't know her. Okay. I always say July Cancers, we're sensitive, but we're not soft. We're sweet and fun, but we will turn up.
Yeah, because I love the meme that I saw that was like, Cancer's always like, no, but why did you hurt my feelings?
Raffi, I am so happy to have you joining me today for coffee. I don't have my official coffee mug because it's in the afternoon, so I might wake myself up too much where I can't go to sleep. But anyway, we're going to pretend. I wanted to make sure that you know I am excited to have you on my show today. I follow your podcast. I love your social media content. You're so real and authentic. So we're going to have a really great chat. And I've even, Raffi, just for you, switched up the questions at the end just for you.
I love it. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited. I read through some of the questions, so I'm ready.
Yay! All right. So first and foremost, let's read your receipts because you have a bio. Raffi's bio includes that the fact that Raffi is always going to be the straw that stirs and finishes the drink. He is the host of DC's messiest podcast, Wait, Don't Do It. Raffi and his partner in crime, NuNu Paris, tell the nation's capital what not to do in DC nightlife. Getting party personality from his dad and his boldness from his mama. Hey, mama, how you doing? Raffi's goal is to provide the world with opportunities to love, laugh, and live like he's always been doing by his family. And with that being said, welcome to Coffee with Yvonne. Raffi!
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Yvonne.
And quick backstory for the listeners. So Danny, who is a guest on my show this week, her episode just dropped. I've known Danny for years. I went to her event to support her at the, what hotel opening was that, Raffi? It was
Citizen
beautiful.
M. Citizen M.
Citizen M, yes, yes, gorgeous. And I saw Raffi there and I was like, oh my God, that's Raffi from the Soch. I should say hi. And I went and said hi and the rest is history.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. It's because that was first of all, that night was a wild night because I was also hosting the podcast for them. And as a podcast host, I know you're asking me the questions, but sometimes I like to ask the questions as
No,
well.
do your thing.
But I always love to know, like, do you I know this, I mean, we were just talking before you even press record, and I feel the same, like, but do you feel like sometimes you have to like turn into the interviewer and you have to pull away from Yvonne, or is Yvonne as the interviewer? Because sometimes I, as the interviewer, I want to like keep the conversation going. And so I don't want to ask too many questions. I want to let the person just like have the conversation.
Exactly.
So how do you go approach these interviews?
I try to bring as much as my personality out as possible. Honestly, Raffi, like I had to learn how to put myself on mute because I react when people are talking. So you might hear me and like last things go, oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. They don't need my commentary. Put yourself on mute so they can hear the guest.
100%, especially in the virtual scope, because you have to because sometimes if you're talking at the same time, it'll be like, like robot sounds. And so so I was wondering how I wonder how you approach that. But yeah, I'm super happy to be here. It was a delight meeting you. So yes.
Yay! Well, Raffi, let's get right into it. So, your podcast, Wait, Don't Do It, explores the hottest topics and news from pop culture to everyday topics. I know everyone has their inspo about why they create their platforms, but what was yours in new news?
The reason why we started Wait, Don't Do It, I think, was at the time I was working at the gay gym here in DC. And, when I moved here in 2016 from after college, I was in the scope of I just want to find my community here, and I was always fed the story that DC is the gayest city in this side of the country. And I'm originally from New York, and I wanted to go back to New York. Are you from New York, by the way? Did we talk about that too?
I'm not from New York, but New York is like my second home.
New Jersey, Connecticut, New York pipeline. I feel like that's just like its own little state, honestly. The triad. So I wanted to after college, going to school in North Carolina, I was like, I don't see myself staying here because of the queer limitations and also racial limitations. At the time, I didn't realize, but now being back, in a space that's more diverse, when I was in North Carolina, I was around people that were not like me at all. They were mostly white, and certain things in North Carolina operate much different than they do in DC alone. And we can get into a whole episode about those kinds of things. But I will say, being here, I was fully going to feel my main character energy. I was going to feel like this was going to be like a move that I needed to make to continue my parents' legacy because they're Salvadoran immigrants. They went to New York right after the Civil War in El Salvador. They finally own a house in North Carolina. And so they're living the dream. And that sets the bar for me now. You know what I'm saying? And so I moved up here, got a job at the gay gym. I thought that was going to have a community here. I was like, oh my God, I finally made it. And then I realized there was other limitations, like the fact that I didn't grow up with abs. I used to be 300 pounds at the time. It didn't matter what I was eating. There was never going to be the abs that I thought that I would need to be seen, and all those kinds of moments. And having those, and also coming up here and realizing now that you bring your trauma with you. So you bring those big boy feelings and you bring that energy up, and you also, but carry it. I will say that didn't obviously limit me, but I will say it just definitely hit you take the blow harder. Does that make sense? When you don't leave the unpackaged stuff behind, when you get let down, you really take it personally, and it's not even that personal. It's just how the world works, and it's not even that serious. And I'm glad that it didn't work out there, because obviously it pushed me to make this podcast. And I finally got to have a voice and start speaking to 5 to 10 people our first 4 seasons. But then finally, with social media and all that kind of stuff, we utilized it to grow a platform. And now we kind of give a voice to people that don't always have the room to speak up, like drag performers or other people in the community that, they have these thoughts, but they can't say it because of fear of losing their platforms or stuff like that.
You know, it's interesting. I find that a lot of people, including you, start podcasts when they feel like their voice is being suppressed or they feel like they're part of communities that are more marginalized, right? Because it tends to be a lot more people of color, people who are part of other communities that need to have these platforms to feel heard because they're not heard in their day-to-day life. Like for me, for example, I am a creative through and through. I work in marketing for my full-time job. I've done marketing for 10 years. However, similar to you, I went to PWI. I grew up here in this area, but in my field, it's not very diverse. So I don't see myself every single day. So me having my own platform and now an extension to my platform, a podcast, gives me a chance to show up authentically every single time.
Yeah, because you're always told you have to play the game in the real world. You have to play the game. And I play to the audience. I don't play games. I really always am, like, I'm a performer. I always like to think of myself as a performer, and I don't think about. I always say, like, when you really think you're the main character, you really think you're the main character. So you're not thinking about like how a plan to like make this person feel isolated. You're not thinking of a way to make this person feel like they need you in their lives. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about those kinds of things. Fitness, marketing, consulting. I've seen it in DC. There are people that win, there are people that lose, and you should just be happy you're here. You should just be happy you're here. And so I think that is what pushed me. But again, it's a give or take. I feel like you would agree. It's like it's a double-edged sword. Being like the person that was on the outs for so long in high school, college was pretty lit, but then going back into it and when I was working at the gay gym, it really makes you see the world as a movie. So it makes you feel like you're self-aware and you know how people operate. And then you get to just like see the energies that you want to accept there for your life. And then again, if I would have been comfortable in Vita, would I have a podcast? Maybe not. And would I be part of a community that is ultimately toxic? Maybe. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think certain things are benefits, but it's definitely a double-edged sword.
For a lot of us that are creatives, we weren't raised to think that this is something we can do as a career and day to day. We were raised to think that more traditional career is what we should be gearing our goals toward. I originally, Raffi, was supposed to be pre-med as a doctor. I saw blood for the first time in college. I was out. I said, no, ma'am. She will not be doing this. And when I called my mom,
you made the whole commitment. You made the whole commitment too.
I got my scholarship under pre-med. All of it was pre-med. I think the fault was, I blame it on ER, the original series. That was their fault because they didn't have to have them black doctors to inspire me. That was their fault. It was stop. Like a typical woman ER set me up because I was like, I'm gonna go to Hillman, I'm gonna meet Dwayne Wayne, and then I'm gonna be a doctor. No, ma'am, that did not happen. So that being said, creativity was my route for me, and I haven't looked back ever since. But I appreciate you sharing with me that a lot of times when you're not made to fit in, you're born to stand out, and you're just naturally born to stand out.
Yeah, 100%. It's my friend said something along the lines of I said that's on the podcast too. They said some people have hopes and dreams, some people have ways and means, and you have to have ways and means. You really have to like make your own route, and when you make your own route, there's you have actual power to gain, honestly, because then you actually have an influence, and you actually have like influence on making the world a better place. So I think it's always like having the idealism about yourself, but then always coming back to reality and realizing that we all can be, again, like I said, going back to what I was talking about, the trauma that you experience as a young person, you can't always come to the world like that. And you have to realize like where, like the things that make you great can also make you a very overly passionate person sometimes. Does that make sense? So it's all like, it's all a self-awareness and balances kind of thing too.
Yeah. And you know, I appreciate that you share that because like you and I are just regular everyday people who decide to hop on a mic and take a risk and share our opinions to, at first, 2 people, but now hundreds and hundreds of people who listen. But there are celebs like Meghan Markle, Lindsay Lohan, and countless others who are now going into the podcast space because maybe their manager told them. But
yeah.
What do you think about like celebrities who are now doing that? Do you think their participation takes away from others like you and I who are actively doing the work to build audiences and create good content?
I've been working a lot in nightlife. I like just in general nightlife, and I see it. I see how it can be very scarcity driven, and how when people think that new people come through, it might feel like it's taking opportunities or like makes it more competitive. To me, yes, I think that not everyone needs a podcast. Let's be clear. I want to say this before I continue the sentence. Not everyone deserves or needs a podcast. Not everyone has it. Period.
First of all, let's clarify. Your cousin who has an opinion on things, auntie who thinks that she's funny, does not need a podcast. Everyone does not need a podcast, okay? They don't need a Facebook page half the time. They need to be banned from social media. They don't need a mic. But go ahead, Raffi.
No, I cannot, that part, and then let's add the part where like, do I really sit up at night and think about what Lindsay Lohan and Meghan Markle and all these people are thinking about? No. So would I love to see people, because again, these people are being approached by podcast companies and being like, hey, whoa, what do you want a podcast? We have this budget. Hello, here you go. 100%, I think they should be they should be very much shopping for small creatives like you and I, because that's where the authenticity comes. But I think crossing, and that's something else I was thinking about, is crossing that line, crossing that threshold of having a machine behind you. There also comes like other limitations. And so I always think about like the broader scope. And so like, I would love iHeartRadio to pick up the phone right now and be like, hey, we have a spot, fill it up. But at the same time, if it wasn't the right opportunity, give it to Lindsay Lohan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's true. Like, you need to, like, it's not just about having a show, it's about having the right platform, it's about having the right voice, it's about having the right content. Like, for example, when Michelle Obama, former first lady, let's put some respect on her name, yes. Former first lady Michelle Obama dropped her podcast. I listened every week. I said, I love her. Like, I'm here. But when Meghan Markle dropped hers, I said, oh, okay, it's cute.
It's like Spotify will reach out to them and be like, hey, we have an hour to fill Meghan Markle, you're hot right now, let's get you on and sign this contract. I think that is not where that's not the platform I would listen to either. But clearly it fills some people's days, and ultimately I think that's where I would hope that like the more people listen to podcasts in general, like, you know what I'm saying, this one person that would never have listened to podcasts and I listen to Meghan Markle, I hope that person is a friend of mine that finally be like, oh yeah, Raffi has a podcast. I mean, this is the Raffi's podcast. You know what I'm saying? That's how I kind of like, yes, there we go. I still want to lead the conversation with that. Support the people that are actually doing the work and like actually just like putting themselves out there with no protection, actually.
Exactly. And you know what? Despite the growing number that we talked about before, there's still a small number of shows that represent various communities like you and I, like minorities, LGBTQIA plus communities. You know, even honestly, transgender communities need to have a bigger microphone on the podcast spectrum, as there's not a lot of understanding behind empathy behind these communities, to be honest with you. And it does frustrate me, but that's another conversation for another day. But do you think that your show, Wait Don't Do It, is helping to bring positive awareness around communities outside of the heteronormative spectrum?
I definitely would say that we definitely push that heteronormative boundary of like, when you listen to us, some people have been so transparent. They're like, I love your podcast, but I can never listen to you in the morning. You're too much. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to receive that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I might be too much for myself sometimes in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like take the world like that personally. And so, but that's always something I think about, is like where my branding is in the world. And you know what I'm saying? Where I fall in the podcast scope. Clearly that person listens to the podcast probably more for as a get ready with me, like when they're getting ready for makeup or stuff like that, because they were a drag performer. And so I was like, cool. I mean, and so that tells me that we bring like a person that we bring a feeling to that person that makes them feel like they're getting ready with somebody else. They're feeling, and that's something that I used to do before I had a podcast. One of my clients, Allison Lane, she is a DC local. She had a podcast, GTFO, and she did it from the Line Hotel, and she was my client as a personal training client for a while. And I would listen to her podcast, and it would bring me this feeling of like of our sessions, but like in more in a one-on-one kind of scope. And I just like lived for her like grabbing the mic and like just talking into it. And so I think that's what our podcast does. People say that it has no plot. We agree, but I will always say that the purpose of our podcast is to make the people that are working. We have consultants that listen to our podcast that are of color, that work in these white spaces, that listen to our podcast because they want to hear us around them at work. It's to feel like people have other people like them when they don't feel like they're actually being surrounded by them.
And it's honestly like connecting with a friend you never met before in your real life, right? Like
Yeah.
I listen to certain podcasts every single week because it brings a comfort to me. I listen to a mix of things from messy down to informative because that's kind of the span of my personality.
Yeah.
But I really do think that even though you said, to backtrack, that your show has no plot, remember there was another show that had no plot that's still iconic to this day called Seinfeld.
Yeah, literally.
And it's
Yeah.
still one of the greatest comedy shows of all time. So there's
Mhm.
always a method to the madness, Raffi.
Yeah. Oh, 100. That's what we always say. Like there is like that's the purpose. It's just we're here just to have a good time. Purposeless fun is like my goal. Honestly, every day is just like having fun for no reason. I don't lean towards seriousness too much. When I do, it's not great. So I try to take the world again by stride. I always like to, I know when to be professional, but serious is a different word sometimes to me. Those are two things that I'd like to, separate.
And getting a little bit more serious, now we have to talk about the importance of protecting our work because creatives, we struggle with this a lot. We live a lot in our head. We just want to create. We don't think about the business, right? Now, when it comes to that, in this space, it's sometimes difficult to do that because it's easy to copy concepts or use content without giving recognition to the creator. What advice would you give to someone who is either interested in this space, whether it's podcasting or even content creating? Like, what is some of your advice?
Protect their work as in from being like copied or from being imitated.
From being copied, imitated, copied without taste is what we call it in the marketing.
Copy without taste, like
tacky. It's tacky.
It's tacky. Okay, yeah, okay. TikTok is that. I want y'all to know TikTok is that. TikTok is very tacky. People just like will just like copy the same. Some people, one person did that with me, but like I said, I don't take that too seriously because, like I said, I make content about my experiences living in DC. I also came from New York, so like I can realize that I'm not from DC, but I know that my experiences that gentrified me out of New York are being relived over here. And so now I you know what I'm saying? So I always approach the lens of that. So like I always feel like if you are making jokes, then make it funny or reinvent the wheel. Or if you're just having fun, have fun. But if you're literally just like copying and pasting, then again, then maybe you just don't need a platform. Then there's something else you need to hunt. A lot of people think that they love it, that they want attention, that they need these validations through likes and things, but it's not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy. And I'm not even saying like it's easier than having a 9-to-5 that you hate. 100% it's easier than that. But I will say there are levels of like, especially in my scope as a micro creator, I just feel like there is no protection. I mean, I'm still very like living my day life and then going out and having people like recognize me or know more about me than I know about them. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to think about those kinds of things. So I always tell people, just if you're creating content, create it, have fun with it. If you see that there's a purpose and it feels natural, then continue doing it. Doesn't matter if no one's listening to it. Use it as a diary. Listen to your episodes. Our first episodes, don't listen to us like they're now. And it works as great media training. But if you're just using it like you said, replicating something that you've seen over and over and over and again, like there's a difference between a trend and copying. Then there's no point. Then you're just like I said, you don't need this. This is not your path. Your path probably is something else. Like drawing, you're great at like copying, sketch.
Yeah, you're great at copying. That's why you're not original. But I just to kind of get back to your point, you're absolutely right. Like when it comes to creating content, I say this to other marketers all the time. I do my own thing when it comes to creating content. And it's literally, Raffi, stuff that lives in my head. Whereas when I try to do the whole trending sound thing, that content never did well because it didn't come across as authentic to me. And when it comes for me protecting my work, I honestly have certain visuals that people know are associated with my style. Like when it comes to my personal reels or TikTok content, there's a certain setting visually for my TikTok videos. When it comes to Pink Dollhouse content, there's a certain look and feel to everything. So I know if you try to snatch my stuff and didn't give me credit, I will slide in your comments like, hey, that mentioned me. This is my stuff. I will report your stuff. Don't play with me. I'm not for play. So
See, I never did that. I guess I don't ever want
I'm
to
a
like
Cancer.
get,
I'm petty. I'm a
yes.
Cancer. I'm petty.
That's what the
Don't
cancer
try
comes
me.
out. That is the cancer. That is fully the cancer coming out because I want to. I tell you, I want to so bad. I trust me, I'm that person. But then when I do it, then I never have that energy to keep it up. You know what I'm saying? So I just like it's. I always like let them have it, and then like just know that imitation is the best for flattery. Period. Now, if they're making money off it, that's a different story. That's something that else I think that's very annoying. Is that like a lot of white people will just
This is a
do
safe
just
space. You can say it out
yeah
loud. It's fine.
very
You don't
well
have to whisper.
to the white people in the back. You're having it a lot easier than some of us out here. But I will say that that's a true reality too. That like you have to like fight those kinds of realities too. That when you're in a platform space, that people will they steal from Black content creators all the time, and then they just replace it and get so many likes. That's how Gen Z created this notion that they are, woke. No, they're not. Let's be clear, they're not. They just heard about woke through
Yes.
Black people, and then that they saw what trended through Black people,
Yes.
and so I think that's ultimately something that we also have to remember is that imitation is just like that's also the culture almost at this point. And now it's like there's no new ideas, which is why I think people like us are having platforms and like being able to like succeed off these platforms is because it's been so repackaged and reformulated, and now people are getting the opportunity to have access to something relatable and something that actually means something to them. You know what I'm saying?
And I totally agree with you. That's why, like, again, I don't even have a schedule for myself anymore, like a content schedule. I'm a bad marketer when it comes to that. But honestly, when it's your talent, you don't need to schedule out your talent. You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just feel it out. Feel
Period.
it out.
You know,
I love this affirmation bonding thing that we have going on right now.
but thinking about it even more, like there are shows like The Read, which I listen to on a regular basis. It's one of my, outside of your podcast, one of my other favorite messy podcasts. They've managed to build like sponsorship dollars from major companies and other things like that. Have you guys started exploring this option as well? I know you're starting to host more events and people facing things that you're doing in the city, but have you started entering this revenue stream?
We have some revenue coming along as I've had some packages going on with like making videos for accounts here in local DC. I've also had other opportunities to work with like Citizen M and be an ambassador for them and continue some hopefully contracts in the future. But I've had opportunities that way. As far as sponsorship for the podcast, our numbers have grown in the past year, and that has been fabulous. Now we're just trying to figure out how do we get the eyes on us. How do we what I'm saying? We have numbers that I feel like are very competitive in the local scope, but we also have to deal with the fact that we are in the local scope and our people who sponsors people in the local scope. So at this point, we would just love to be picked up by at least right now we have something going on with Citizen M where we'll be recording out of Citizen M, but we would love to have like the Line Hotel or someone that actually has a podcast studio that has content, the works that we can actually produce through and have a little bit of a push to help us get there. That would be definitely the goal for us. Is those avenues right now. Sponsorships are definitely there, 100%. But then also, we have not had those opportunities yet.
But you know what? We're going to speak into existence that you will have these opportunities.
Yeah.
And just a quick marketing tidbit, Raffi. I would start taking different media pieces that you have from your content. If you haven't done this already, your content and your podcast, and putting together like a top 5 scope and developing a media kit behind that. So that way you can easily send something out to those who are interested in sponsorship or those you want to reach out to, so they can just see up front your impact in numbers and the content.
Yeah, we have a presentation, but we don't have anything that's digital or something audible or like something that, again, we have like a presentation that's like our numbers, our stats, what we do, what we're about. We don't have anything that has like, oh, this is how we sound. We have, you know what I'm saying, this is the episode that did the best, and this is what we talked about. Again, those are the opportunities that I would love to, like, this is why I love working with other creators and curators in DC, because I get to learn and how to like make these avenues happen. Because like I said, I've been a personal trainer for 12 years now, and while it was a great time, it didn't offer me a lot of skills in the scope of, you know, media marketing. I went to school for media training and film, and even that training was questionable. Let's be clear. Everything was still self-taught, because even that avenue, as we know, is very white and white focused. So
Well, I mean, we're going to, again, keep our fingers crossed, because I know great opportunities are going to come your way, especially when you stay authentic and true to your craft. It just comes. I mean, look at Issa Rae, right? That's example
huge
number non
inspiration.
grata. Yes, Quinta Brunson is
Yes.
another one. Love Quinta. Do you watch Abbott?
Yes, I 2 episodes behind this season, but yes,
Oh,
I
okay. I won't ruin it
love
for you. I
Abigail.
won't ruin it for you. I love
No,
Abbott.
I watched the first 2 episodes. No, maybe first 3 episodes. No, is it 4 episodes in already?
I think we're 4 episodes in on the new
2.
season.
I'm on 2. Yeah, I have 2 episodes in. I'm two
Okay, I
episodes
love Abbott Elementary,
in. I
but
love Abbott.
think about Quinta. She started out from creating content to being on BuzzFeed to the ooh, he got money, and now she has a Emmy award-winning show from its first season. She won an Emmy.
Mhm. My podcast NuNu, my podcast host NuNu, is like, she actually has a full-time job. This is like this is more of my full-time also. Like, this is something that I've been like pushing for. So I tell her all the time, like, I'm taking I do take the risk of not having a full-time job. I still have health insurance.
Thinking about the other things that you guys are working on, I know you have your amazing Halloween party coming next week, which I have to actually order my costume. Can I
And
give
you
you a
have to
hint what I'm going to be?
okay. Yes, I was about to say I can't hear what it is because I want to be surprised.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'll just say it's a very popular teen movie.
Okay. It could be anything. A little bit more
Okay.
niche. Or niche.
There's a day of the week that you have to wear this color.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm down. Down. I'm excited. I can already. I'm here for whatever it is.
Yay!
And if you're too gay to function, I'm gonna scream at the plot twist. Imagine you're like, okay, I'm gonna be someone for Me Girls. Plot twist, I came as Damien. I was.
Oh my
I
god!
was dying.
I've been practicing my. I love your bracelet. See, really pretty. I've been practicing that for weeks. I lie to you not.
I mean, do we have to practice it though? We're all at this point. We don't. At this point, we do, and we've all done that out and about. We all literally have done that, like literally.
We have. Oh my god!
Work.
On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie so much. But talk about a little bit more about your Halloween party that's coming up next week. I know Danny, I think she's one of the co-hosts for the event. Go ahead, do your thing, Raffi. Tell the people.
Our gag Halloween party is gonna be October 29th from 9:30 to 12:30. So it's a good little sandwich party for that after party. It's DJ Gaston is gonna be on the beats, and then NuNu Paris will be curing the drag show. We have VV Majesty and Jody Sanchez, a drag king and drag queen, local to DC. And we also have Danny judging our costume contest. And I love Danny. First of all, Blonde the District, love her to death. Another amazing creator and curator here in DC. Yes, much love to Danny. And it's basically just an extension of our podcast. Like I said, we try to make you feel like you're partying, getting ready for whatever you're doing that night. And so you're actually getting to experience what it's like to go out with us at night. We actually have a great time. Our Pride party was a huge success, and it's pretty much a space where, if you look at the videos that we have our social medias, we have those pinned. It's just a space where we have all kinds of music. We don't have the same kind of music you're going to hear in these bars, especially it's a queer focused space. So especially in the queer spaces, it's very white dominant. So it's very just not even just white dominant, white cis male dominant. So it's very just refreshing to come to a space where you don't have to like dance around people judging you. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely that kind of vibe. So make sure you get your tickets on Eventbrite, which are going to be linked in the bio of Wait Don't Do It podcast on IG and TikTok.
Raffi, I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to be mad at me because this costume is not as fabulous as the actual costume I'm wearing next week for a work event.
Oh my! Wait, why? Wait, how are you gonna say that?
I have to because I don't want you to see it on the social and be like, this bitch. Who not wearing this and I get this costume instead? Like,
no, I'm sure you're gonna look great regardless, but you can't rewear it. Oh, you're not a rewear. You have to do two different looks.
The one I'm wearing for work, Raffi, I tell you right now. Woo!
I can't wait. I'm excited.
I can't wait. Oh, they're gonna gag.
I'm ready to like. I'll be liking. They're gonna literally gag.
They're gonna gag over this one. Like they're gonna gag. I love playing like costume characters for Halloween. But anyway, anything else you want to share? Like, any other causes that you're supporting, or Wait Don't Do It, the podcast you and NuNu are supporting together? Like, what other advocacy work are you planning on working on, or you're doing right now?
Well, I just want to shout out again my co-host NuNu Paris, who I do the podcast with, and we're the curators of Wait Don't Do It Productions, who is behind what we do. So we do. We're trying to create a whole wider scope of production. Right now, the podcast is our main goal. But you can follow us at Wait Don't Do It Podcast on TikTok and IG. And you can follow NuNu Paris at NuNu Paris Y'all. She's an amazing makeup artist and drag queen here in the district. And just party with us at the gag party. And I'm sure we're gonna have more events coming up very soon. I'm also gonna be hosting happy hour cycle rides or brunch happy rides or brunch themed cycle rides here in DC at Mint Gym. I'm an indoor cycle instructor, and I'm trying to bring a party energy to a fitness scope. So just so we just don't think about calories or what we're burning off the day of the workout. We're just having fun. So check that out on my social media coming very soon. Very nice. Look at you, booked and busy, not bored and broke. Broke's maybe. Broke is You're not broke. You're financially responsible. Responsible broke. Okay. No, I would say I'm definitely financially driven. I believe in myself. I spend like I believe in myself. Let's be clear. I'm always like, I'll make that back. I always say, I'll make that back. Every time I make a purchase that's too big, I'm like, I'll make that back. Oh my gosh, that was me at Ulta yesterday. I went in there to exchange something. I don't know what happened between the exchange and the register. But I don't know, and I needed everything. I did. I was like, I just. You walked out with like $300. Close to it. And then the way I justified it, Raffi, I said, "Well, I am supporting Black-owned businesses in my purchases." So yeah, that drives me. I will buy I bought like shirts from like drag performers and stuff like that at a party, and they were quite expensive. But I'm like, I'm supporting local drag. Period. So it's like I'm giving my money back to the community. And that's good karma. That comes back to bite you in a good way. I will. I got this free gift with purchase from Julia. So obviously, it was worth the price. This little lip gloss. I said, "Oh, free with purchase. That makes it worth it." It's just my car note. I'm okay. I was like, I don't need more beauty products, but I'll take them. So. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Raffi, you were so much fun. But before we get done, quick fire questions for you. Yeah. Is that cool? I'm excited about this. Yeah. And like I mentioned, I switched it up. My normal questions involve like, the type of coffee, superhero, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, you know what? Get messy. Let's get messy. Messy edition. Yeah. Good. The brand. Okay. All right. So this game that we're going to play is a little game that I made up off the top of my head. You can laugh at me. It's called iced or hot coffee, right? Mm-hmm. And for the quick fire questions, you have to decide if this person or topic should be put on ice, as in they need to chill out, or if they're hot right now. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, first one
Love
up,
this.
Chloe Bailey.
Hot. I liked Treat Me Like You Treat Me. I liked.
Like a chick.
It hit. I just think that something is there's not a there's a machine backing her. I just don't think that something's clicking, but I don't think it's her fault. I think it's just like it's too fast of a scope. You have to really keep firing hits these days. It's unfortunately media is that kind of way right now. So I think that's the limitation.
It's a little something missing. It's not the same
Yeah.
kind of artistry we got back in the days of Queen Bee, Destiny's Child, TLC,
Mhm.
all them that they were mentored up to be
Yes.
superstars. People are expecting now to be big on social media, then become superstars, if that makes
hmm
sense.
No, you gotta be. You gotta have very much a lot of it both almost at the same time now.
Yes, and that's
Really,
very hard. That's
very
very hard.
hard. Yeah.
I
So
don't have kids.
I'm not discounting anything. I'm not discounting her yet, but so I'm saying hot. I'm saying hot right
Oh
now.
no,
I
she's
think
hot
she'll
for
get hot.
me. She's
Yeah,
hot,
yeah,
but she's still a baby. She'll figure it out.
yeah, yeah.
She'll figure it out. Okay, next up, Tia Mowry.
Oh, hot. Period. I love Tia Mowry, right? Hot,
Yes.
yes, because I mean we all love her like dragging Tamara, but I just think Tia is just a fun. Just I just think Tia's always like I always joke that I am Tamara in the scope of the show. Like NuNu is Tia. She's always like the more like responsible one and da da da. But I always loved Tia on the show. Like Tia was always like the person that I was like, oh, I need to be more responsible. So she was like always like the older sister. My sister was more responsible than I was. So I think that's where. So Tia, hot.
Okay. All right. So we have the new season of Real Housewives of Potomac that just premiered last week.
Okay.
So Real Housewives of Potomac, iced or hot?
Hot, hot,
Really?
hot,
Okay.
hot.
Go ahead.
I think
Go
it's
ahead. Tell
hot.
me
I
why.
think
Tell me
it's
why.
hot.
Tell me why.
I think that I love watching the four longest running housewives ever grace the screen. Just like actually like just like chill for a while and just like actually like vibe and see actually how their chemistry does follow through. I do think some of the storylines are like, okay, we're literally gonna watch Wendy get scammed by Peter. We're watching that in real time. We're watching that in real time. So it's not like actively when you're watching the show, you don't know what's going on. But then when you watch Twitter, it's a great Twitter season. It's gonna be a great Twitter season.
Oh my God. I never heard it called that. It is going to be a great Twitter season.
It's a great Twitter season because you're like the storylines are you're going to Peter they're gaslighting you. They're like, oh, he's a mogul. Like if bar one wasn't like a flop the first time and it's still getting bad reviews in Baltimore as we speak. Like but it's so funny. So that's why it's like you need Twitter to be like, no, this is crazy. This is actually crazy. This is why it's crazy. This is why it's good. And then I also love, I mean, is this what Cancer No Cancer looks like? I think Giselle's clocking in the season fully, and I'm here for that. So I will say it's going to be a hot
Her
season.
wigs ain't.
No, I mean, I can't speak on any of the fashions because I think that to each his own.
Raffi, we've had 7 seasons. Still.
but she's building the house that looks like 3 different houses. She's actually, I think,
Pop-Tart house? She's building the Pop-Tart house, yes.
she's onto something though. I think she's gonna make those. Those are gonna be separate homes. She's gonna like one day like revitalize that. And she's like,
Robbie, how do you buy land in Potomac but you're giving Bob's discount furniture on the inside? I don't
Bethesda.
understand.
But it's first of all, it's Bethesda. To be clear, it's Bethesda.
Oh, Bethesda. I'm sorry, Bethesda. It's still giving Bob's discount furniture.
No, did you see that? But you have to get on the Twitter because did you see the thing where it was like, it played the theme song of Bad Girls Club under her giving her home. It was Giselle giving her home tour, and it was giving the Bad Girls theme song underneath because that is the decor. It's like that purple wall. It's like really crazy and tight.
It's very. I ain't getting no sleep because of y'all.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, no, I like that. Okay, what else is hot? I like because I want an ice. I want to get someone an ice.
Okay. I'm gonna throw this one in there because I'm just being messy and I want to hear your opinion. Kanye.
At this point, ice. I'm just gonna put him. I don't think. Okay, first of all, I still think that, like I said, if I'm playing my music and then a song from Kanye that still resonates plays, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna be that extra. I'm not that extra.
It makes me sad though.
It does. Sad. It's like it's ultimately it's just very sad because it just shows you the crazy. Not that I'm that's ableist, but how like just how money and power can really make you feel very kind of delusioned in what the reality of the scope is, and how you're like hurting other people, and you may think that you are. I'm not delusional to think that I have an ego. So I have an ego, but you have to also be aware of like how your ego eventually starts hurting people. And I think that kind of inner dialogue is not happening. But he may think that he's super
dialogue?
genius.
He's only dialoguing with himself at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know who he's talking to.
Yeah. So that is a good one. Let's put, to me, I'm gonna put his personality on ice. The personality is on ice. Done. Everything. Like I'm not buying the clothes.
Okay. Let's see. Rent in the DMV.
That's on. I wish that would be on ice. I wish they would put that on ice. I wish that would be put on ice. I wish that would be on ice. I wish it would stop. It's not.
It's ridiculous at this point. Like,
is DC worth this much money that people are paying? No. However, I will say I'm not moving nowhere. Unfortunately, I'm staying put. I know it's like in New York right now. New York, I saw an apartment in New York for $890, no bathroom in the unit. You had to do a bathroom-ette. Could you imagine how?
What is that?
And you're living in the East Village. Imagine being invited to someone's apartment in the East Village, being like, "Oh, I'm about to go to the East Village. Ooh, let's see the apartment," and then they don't have a bathroom. Again, I'm not a person that judges people off their place, but if your bathroom is not in the scope of the square footage that you're paying for, then I am not coming over. No. I can't do that. That bathroom is that's set on by 6 other people from New York.
No, that's ridiculous. Like I remember when I was looking for my apartment. And I started looking at the rent when I moved from my first apartment. Now, let's be clear. My first apartment, we all started from the bottom. Now we're here. It was an apartment. That's all we're going to call it. It was just an apartment. And when I was like, you know what? I'm doing better now. I'm going to get a nicer apartment. And I started looking at these rent. I said, no. I don't want a house. I just want a 1-bedroom. And they're like, yeah, so it starts at $2,600. I said, dollars for this? This is not worth $2,600. Just to have a, what's it called? A pet park at the bottom or whatever. I said, I don't have a dog, so cut out $400 for that.
I mean, I will say I live in a place that is worth $900, but I definitely only pay $1,100 right now. So again, and it's in Logan Circle. I live in Logan Circle, so I'm about to walk to the plan. I'm about to walk to the plans right now, so I can't complain. I do think that you have to shop around. You have to be patient in the system, and you also can't come in here like really like just like if you could live by yourself. Some people live with like 6 people, pay the same amount of money, but they just want to say they live in a row house. You got to lose the opportunity again. But I can't speak for anybody else. You just got to.
No, you're speaking truth because after college, after I lived with 8 or 9 different women in one house, I said I will not have a roommate. No, I'm living by myself. I can't do it. I'm tired of y'all. Okay, last one, Raffi. Hot or iced, Rihanna?
Hot. I cannot wait to see Fenty sportswear. I'm really here for Fenty. I have Fenty in my closet right now. The underwear is very sexy. So yeah, I think that I'm excited to see her Super Bowl performance too.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for coffee. I cannot wait to see you again in real life next week. No, not next week. Lord have mercy.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
15 days.
That's that DMV living. Like after a while, we're like, where am I? Where am I?
Yeah, literally hours away. Yeah.
Literally. But I cannot wait to see you very soon, all dressed up in your Halloween costume. And thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Yvonne. I had so much fun.
You're welcome. I'll chat with you soon.
Bye.